All right, guys, welcome back to the Cavalry only game. So, what's going on? You know what's going on. Come on. So, whenever I'm playing a game where I've conquered into Russia, excuse me, ever since I watched Game of Thrones, I've always thought the North is for Northmen. So, whoever develops up here, I don't even try to send them south. I go ahead and, this little jackass. See, now they're going to have to go and protect. That's what the AI does. He sends out these little raiding parties and tries to catch you unawares. But that's not going to happen, brah. So what I've been doing a lot here is I think of it kind of as the modified flour. Ooh, I can't do it here. Modified flour is when you, I call it the skewer, when you take stacks of 5, and usually I'll take the stacks of 5 and stiffen them up with 1 cavalry. But what's happening here is what you do is you move command them through to a position beyond. But I don't think I can do that here. There's really no position beyond here because it's such a coastal city. So I'm just going to do a straight up old-timey attack. I just can't have this in Norwegian hands anymore. It's just uncool, and I may have to push on into here because he just keeps on. First of all, he took this from me. I didn't have it heavily guarded, but this AI went to war with me and took it away. So that's not cool, man. So I'm going to have to use all these Northmen up here to guard the shore. And then, honestly, once they're done guarding the shore, they'll come join this army. And I'm going to go ahead and march on through here because fuck you, bro. So when I see these guys, look at this. Looks like we got some cruisers, we got some submarines. And I look at it and I'm like, oh, it's like a guy on a diet who looks at a cheeseburger or a donut. And he's like, oh, I remember when I could have those. And yeah, wasn't that nice back when I could have freaking boats? All right, so you know what's going on. Same thing that's always going on. Cavalry is OP. That's all I can say. I'm continuing to stream everything down here. So just an example, that grab was 16 cavalry. I'm going to go ahead and build more cavalry off screen. But every time I come back, I've got usually like 7 wheat. So I'll buy enough fish to get that up to 7, and I'll build 7 more cavalry somewhere else. Continuing to stream down into here. Rectifying what happened on the island. I didn't leave enough behind, so he came and took it. So now I'm going to have to take it back. Let's go ahead and work on that skewer here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then stiffened up with 1 cavalry. Move command through and beyond. Come on. And just, there we go, as close as we can get it. Let me centralize this a little bit. And so I've been doing a lot of that lately, and what it's good for is delivering a lot of power all at the same time, because each of these stacks will hit. So as you know, in previous games, when you move everything like I did up in the north there, when you move everything all at the same time, you only hit with the first 5 of each group, right? Whether it's cavalry or infantry or tanks or whatever, as long as it's a land unit, you only hit with I'm going to go ahead and put 2 in here since I have a bunch of them. You only hit with the first 5, and then anybody after that attacks with much reduced power, and then anything over 40 attacks with no power at all. So what I'm doing here by splitting this, you've probably seen this in some of the other videos, but what I'm doing is I'm making sure that they all hit, because they're all headed to different places. They're not going to glom together into a single attack. So as each one arrives, they will individually, come on, buddy, they will individually attack as they arrive. So what that does is it makes sure that the stack of 5 infantry, which is the maximum damage that infantry can do, that 5, will hit multiple times. So it'll be slam, slam, slam. If we look at one of these stacks, which I just peeled off, we can see they have an attack strength of 7.7. Not bad. Let me go ahead and attack through. Oh my gosh. So I always attack through with all of them when I get to the last 2, because it's hard to come in and see which of the I guess these would have been 1/7s, but then I split it. So I know that it's going through. So I'll just do 7 and 1 for each of these. So a lot of times, actually, I will just throw in all of them beyond to one point and then start peeling them off. using the split command from the main stack. But anyway, so what's happening here is that, and this one is attacking with a little bit more power, 9.9. So two of them are attacking with 9.9. Oh, and the two, let's see what these guys are attacking with. This will be a nice little amount more as well. 9.9 as well. So cool. So I've really got 4 stacks attacking at 9.9, and I believe 3 stacks attacking at 7.7. So, do the math. It's going to be 60-ish damage all laid down at one time. Whereas if I had attacked with a full stack, I believe that the maximum I could attack with is something around, I don't know, 16 or something, maybe more like 18. But I'm going to deliver a lot of power all at the same time. And I happen to know there's not a lot of guys here. It sucks when you attack back into your own fort that you built. You feel really dumb, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you. All right, so I'm down here now with a significant force, enough to really make a difference. I did have to recapture this territory back. It looks like he is sending in some of those sneak attack bastards. And and I had to face some guys here that were coming out of the water. That's why those guys are stationed there. So let's go ahead and gather everybody down here. Make sure they're all headed where they need to be going. Yeah, there we go. So as I move these troops into place, I wanted to talk to you about one of my pet peeves, and that is what I call fishmouthing. So fishmouthing is this strange phenomenon that happens whenever people leave. For example, I'll give you a specific example, and then we'll go into other examples. Whenever people leave a theater, right, and I mean leave the building, out of a side door, right, not necessarily the front door, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, you go down the hall and you're like, hey, this is an exit, and it'll go to our parking lot. So you go down the hallway and you open up the door and you're in a place you've never been before, right? So what happens is a lot of times you have these big groups that are all going to the theater together. They have a family, maybe maybe it's Christmas time, everyone's in town, so you got your grandma, your grandpa, you got aunts and uncles, so there's like 12 of you. And what happens is when that group leaves the building, right? When they leave the building, they all just kind of stand around with their mouths open. And they're in a perfect network to block anyone who's trying to also leave the building. They're all just standing there kind of looking around, just slack-jawed, like, huh. And it's a weird thing. When next time you're in that situation, just watch. It's going to happen. And somebody, eventually somebody snaps out of it and goes, oh, our car's over here. And then everyone just sort of like lemmings just kind of follows behind, but there's a moment there. And I hate that moment. I hate it, where everyone's just kind of looking around, like, oh, I've never been outside before. And like, so I'm usually like me and my wife or whatever, like we're leaving the building and we're like, yeah, we want to go. Like we're leaving the building. And then you have to weave your way through these fishmouthers who are all just kind of standing around like, what's going on? And so, but look, I get it. You're leaving a building. You've never, by the way, I'm just grabbing cavalry here as I move around. Let me go ahead and get 2,000 more fish. I get it. You're leaving a building. You've never left this way before. You've never been in this location before because you got routed like through the theater and out into this unfamiliar. I'm just bought lumber. Jesus Christ. I hate when I do that. So I get it. I'm not angry at the people. It's just frustrating. And the thing is too, like for whatever subliminal reason, they do always space out like perfectly. It's almost like they're oh, I just built a cannon. That is forbidden. That is verboten. That must have just been habit. I do not want to build cannon ever. This is a cavalry only game, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, that does seem to be one of the frustrating things about it, is they do space themselves out equally, like unconsciously. Maybe that's like an ancient remnant of like when we were in the forests or in the savannah, where like if you spread out a little bit, you'd have a better chance of spotting the lion that's going to attack you. I don't know, but all I do know is that as you're trying to leave the building, you're having to like weave your way through these fishmouthers, and they're all just kind of like, what's going on? And you're just like, can you guys leave? Can you go? Can you go away? And so that's, like I said, though, that's not a big deal. I got a lot of cavalry building here. Let's just, before we leave here, just see how many cavalry on the map. That's a fun thing to do. So, I don't blame people that are leaving the theater. That particular example, they've never been there before, but that's not the only time that fish mouthing happens. Fish mouthing also happens anytime people, so 60 cavalry on the board. I love it. 500 infantry, but who cares about them? I am conquering down around the corner here. We'll be moving into Egypt next, and I'm just going to conquer westward. And, eventually I'm going to run into artillery. And I'm losing a lot of guys, by the way, when I attack into these, and later in the game, these fortifications get higher and higher level. So we're going to see, so far I've been coasting easy, but as I get into the middle game here, I'll be facing artillery and tanks. And so we'll see how that goes. My only hope is that by then I'll have enough production that I'll have enough cavalry to just overwhelm them in horseflesh. So another cool thing that's been happening, by the way, is because my cavalry production does not compete with oil and steel, I've been able to up all of my factories just nonstop without, you can see this one's building up to 4. Most of these, as I've went around, this one's building up to 3. Some of these more recent captures are building up to 2 here. This one I think is building up to, it has 1, but he's building this. And then, so I've been able to build a lot of stuff because the buildings are not in competition with the units, which usually they are, because you're building, tanks and cannon, which are in direct competition with a lot of those building resources. So I'm loving that as well. So anyway, fish mouthing. So again, I'm sympathetic to people leaving movie theaters. I get it. I understand. You've never been there before, but the place that I see it also a lot is, so I'm going to go ahead and split off 25 and 5. And then just make those into stacks for skewering here. So we'll be doing that as I talk. So the place I hate it is anytime, if you're at the mall, anytime people leave a store. So like they've all been in, the calendar store or, wherever they are, and, Hot Topic. And so, and this doesn't even have to be a big group. It can be a group of 3 or 4 or 5. Oops, somehow I screwed that up. What happened? Why didn't they split off? What in the Jiminy Cricket? Oh, maybe I have to click to the side. I do. Well, wait. I literally just lost. They must be under the stack. Y'all saw it, man. Bunch of cavalry just disappeared. So maybe they're under here. Where are you guys? They are not. Did that just happen in real time? No. I am an idiot. Wow. Okay. So, wowzers. So anyway, if they're coming out of a building, not a building, sorry, out of a store in a mall, they'll do the same thing. And it's even worse because they'll come out into the main hallway where people are trying to walk, and they'll just all stand around. It's like, well, we were in the store and now we're not in the store. Like, what are we going to do? And they just all kind of stand around, like, again, fish mouthing. And it's like, just, you came from a certain direction, just keep going now in the other direction, like you're walking the mall, man. It's not that complicated. And then, like as you're walking along, you're just trying to walk along to wherever you're going in the mall. You literally have to walk around this group of fish mouthers who are all just kind of standing outside of Hot Topic. And by the way, definitely 3 of them have purple hair, and which is fine. I'm not criticizing purple hair, but definitely that's the case. But it's like, holy crap, like what is going on? Or, maybe you're coming out of the baseball cap store and they all have backwards baseball caps, and they're all saying, dude, as they stand around with their mouths open. But it's like, fish mouthing, it's a problem, folks. I've also noticed it at any kind of decision point. So if you're walking, in a building that has like multiple avenues. So maybe you're in a hospital and you're walking through, and you know where you're going. You're going to visit your aunt or something, but there's a family ahead of you, and and they should just be following the yellow line or whatever. But like whenever they come to a fork in the road, they'll all pause and kind of just slack jaw look around. And the hospital's not a good example because that's pretty sad. Like everyone's sad in the hospital. Somebody's sick or seriously injured. So forget that one. Forget I said that. But like anywhere, like if you're walking through the halls of a university or something, or just any kind of situation where there might be a fork in the road as you walk around, you're going to find fish mouthing. Very frustrating. And I'll close with this. I personally have been in a group of fish mouthers. I'm not saying I'm exempt from it. Specifically, leaving a theater. I know I've been there because I get frustrated at it. So like I'm there with my family. My in-laws are there, and there's 8 or 10 of us. And we get to we leave the theater, and it's like, whoa, where are we? Where's the car? But the thing is, like, we don't have to stand around forever. Like eventually, we should be able to. So I'm always the first person that like starts walking. Like, okay, let's go. Here we go. And then everybody just sort of falls behind because I'm going to tell you this, and you're not going to like it, but I'm going to tell you this. Humans are herd animals. Okay. No, we're lone wolves. No, we're loners. We're eagles flying high by ourselves. No, we're not. We're not. I'm sorry. The reason we're a dominant species is that we specialize, right? And that we work together with such tight unity. And it seems like chaos, and it is, in terms of society. It's a pretty chaotic society we live in. But believe it or not, think about the automobile. Think about how many tens of thousands of people had to come together in one way or another to make an automobile. And I'm talking all the way back to the guy who first came up with the axle and the wheel. And you think, oh, that's not a big deal. Well, you know what? Native Americans never came up with it. They had the travois. They would drag stuff behind them on 2 sticks with, basically, what do you call like a medical cot, or no, I can't think of the name of it. The thing that you throw a guy on when he's injured. Yeah, that thing, only with one side dragging on the ground, But think about a car, like the materials. Somebody long ago learned to refine iron into steel, and that whole process probably took thousands of people as they learned how to add carbon to the steel. They learned how to use charcoal to make hotter fires. Like probably thousands of people went into just making steel in the first place. And then think about plastics. Like how many people had to do research? How many so that's just materials. There's dozens of materials in there. So I mean, I'm just trying to say, like, maybe herd animal. You know what? Herd animal is not the right. We're a hive animal. That's even better. We're a hive animal. But we still behave with these sort of unconscious group behaviors. And, people hate that. They want to be sort of, maverick, alone. And in America, especially, we have that because we have this history of the frontier where there was a lot of sort of independence. But I think what people forget is that nobody came to the frontier alone. People came in family groups, and people clustered together. And out of necessity, they would try to attract a smith to their town. They would have, if they were lucky, they would have a miller come to town and build a mill over the river. And it's always been a community effort, always. And so you do have these community behaviors. And fish mouthing is my least favorite. All right, guys, that's about it. We're going good here. I think I probably won't come back to cavalry only for a while. What I'd like to do is conquer through here until I have vertical sort of symmetry here. So I'll conquer through about halfway of East Libya, and then I'll come back and we can talk. Because I feel like by then, by that point in time, I will have started to run up against artillery fairly regularly, and even some tanks. So at that point, we can reevaluate my life decisions and see if this is going to be a viable game or not. Because as of right now, it's still looking pretty good. I'm 560. The closest next to me is my ally, the German Empire, with 278, like less than half. And then really the only competitor here across the pond is 158. So that's southern USA. I did mention earlier that everybody had left over there, but somebody did come back and they left again. Okay. Northern Canada came back. So he was active for a while and then he left again. So that's kind of depressing. I really feel like I have a better chance against humans than I do against the AI because, humans do dumb things. You can do things like capture a territory and then just hold up inside the bunker and wait for them to attack in with all their stuff and die. But the AI is usually a little bit smarter. So anyway, we'll see what happens moving forward. Certainly my alliance is dominating this game. And let's just face it, people, Cavalry are OP. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for checking in. See y'all next time. Adios, amigos.